Hello everybody, my name's Ray, and as per the name, I love to read, and welcome to the channel, especially if you're new here. Hello. So this is going to be my first monthly wrap-up, and it's not that impressive. I've read 4 books this month, although I've got underway with a few others. So without further ado, let me talk you through what I've read this month. First of all, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen me talk about this one already because I'm a big fan. The Safe Keep by Yael van der Woerden. And this is shortlisted for the Booker. I bought it when I saw the Booker long list. I really liked the cover. I think it's quite haunting and intriguing. So I bought this one and I went in blind not knowing what it was about. And I'm glad I did, because this story just unwraps in the most wonderful of ways. I say wonderful, there's a lot of tragedy here as well. It fits for Sapphic September, so we can it ticks that box as well. And it's just a beautifully written story about 2 women, and I will say no more than that. I spoke to a friend who grew up in a different country, and she had she said that she knew where this was going straight away. So, and her theory was that it depends whereabouts you grew up as to whether you'll kind of catch on to, to the vagaries of where the story's heading. But for me, it was just a goose pimply, wow, the way that the story evolved, I was stunned. So yeah, this was a 5-star read from me. I absolutely loved it. Next on the list, oh my goodness, it's another book. It's been a really good reading month this month. I adored this as well. This was a 4-star read. The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan. Now, from the cover, I knew that this was going to have kind of Loch Lamora vibes. Because that is stunning. You've got the big, glorious fantasy city sprawling out beneath the protagonists, and just the aesthetic. Yum! Absolutely knew I was going to like this. And then we're straight into the action. The way that James Logan develops a story is he puts you straight in there. Lots happening. Boom, meets lots of characters, lots of interesting things going on, moves from interesting place to interesting place, very dynamic, and yeah, no, fantastic. And if you're a fan of Scott Lynch, and you're desperately wanting more of that sort of thing, then yeah, this could be the series to watch. And I'm disappointed that I have to wait a while before the second one comes out. So yeah, this was fantastic. As a mystery, it's a bit linear. So normally with a murder mystery, you've got lots of different threads that the reader has to kind of tie together. But with this one, it's much more of a kind of, you follow the protagonist. So there are twists, there are things going on, and I was never bored reading this. So often when you have a book that's, you know, chunky like this, there are bits where it's slow, but there's so much going on in this one. And yeah, seriously, fantasy fans, pick this up. If you don't like fantasy, the mystery probably isn't strong enough to sell it, but it's still an amazing romp. And probably if you've never tried fantasy and you want to give it a go, this might be a nice entry point, because like I say, lots going on. And thirdly, we've got Lockdown Abbey, which was one of my autumnal looking covers, although I believe it's set in every single season that isn't autumn when I actually read it. But that kind of manor lit from the inside, it just gives me kind of autumny vibes, so I went for it. This is very obviously a lockdown novel, and I do kind of secretly love the way that the author has called it Lockdown Abbey. Apparently based on her partner's family, which I probably wouldn't have admitted, because she's probably going to be the characters in this book do not come across well. It is an upstairs downstairs story of privilege. Everybody is horribly obnoxious. It's a bit of a pastiche, really. Now, the mystery itself is rubbish. But it's not a complete waste of time because there is lots of other stuff going on in this book. Don't get me wrong, I could have done with a little bit less kind of housekeeping in the 1930s because there's quite a bit in there that dragged and wasn't interesting to me. But overall, it's a nice little book. It's obviously a debut, and if you like exaggerated kind of parodies of aristocratic life, it did have charm in places. So although I'm probably being generous with the 3 stars here because, like I say, it wasn't fantastic, but the author definitely has potential, and there was stuff to like here. So if it's your jam, I wouldn't want to put you off. But it was just okay. Finally, we have, and I'm just going to stop for a moment here and demonstrate these edges because I got the I don't know if it's a special edition. I think it's from Forbidden Planet. I don't know if it's their exclusive or if it's just the independent bookstores version. But look at those gorgeous edges. Even if I'd hated this book, I probably wouldn't have been able to pass it on because it's so pretty. But thankfully, I didn't hate this book. This was a 4-star read for me. Our Wives Under the Sea. Again, works for Sapphic September. So half the books I've read fit that category. This was beautiful. It is not an uplifting read. It's about a woman who gets stranded on a submarine mission under the sea. It's extremely claustrophobic, and if you're scared of the sea and or getting trapped under it, this would not be a suitable read for you because it will be scary. I read it as a bit of a horror. It's literary horror. I think it's supposed to be more romantic than that, but to me, getting stuck under the sea in a submarine, yikes. This woman does eventually return to dry land, but there is something very different about her, and her wife feels like she's lost her. And it's just eerie and creepy and beautifully written, and there's love between the two of them that has gone somewhat awry because of the changes in Leah, who's the wife. I haven't read anything like it. It was very, very strange. I did, like I say, at the end I probably could have done with a bit more either clarity or boom or impact at the end. But I'm not going to give anything away as to where this goes because I had no clue going in. But it's surreal, it's lyrical, and I loved it. And I've got another Julia Armfield novel to read, which I'll be prioritising because her writing is gorgeous. And I have definitely been writing down quotes as I went through. So yes, this one's a big yes from me. Am I looking a little bit more bedraggled than I was a minute ago? I went and got lunch midway through making this video. So this is a slightly more caffeinated Ray, but also slightly more windswept, having been out on the moors. And when I say moors, I mean walking to the coffee shop and back. So romantic. Anyway, do you prefer neat Ray or bedraggled Ray? We both give off different vibes. Anyway, so finally I'm going to talk a little bit about the books that I've been reading in October that I haven't yet finished. And one of those is a very special book that I'm reading along with Hardy's Books, who are a fantastic duo, Ross and Laura. You may have already checked out their channel. They're wonderful people and they do great videos. And this book, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which in my head I always want to call Jonathan Norrell and Mr. Strange, is a buddy read, and it's Ross's favourite book. So I am just into part 2. Everyone else still seems to be managing to read faster than me. And this is my sort of thing. So Victorian style writing, fantasy magic world building, slow burn, everything's long-winded and beautiful and just exquisite. I love this sort of thing, and there are fairyland vibes, but not in a kind of twee, because usually if someone says fairy or fae, I'm usually kind of, this is going to be a bit whimsical for my liking, but the kind of fairies that we have in this book are more your kind of David Bowie and Labyrinth kind of vibes. Your kind of Faustian packs, you know, and everyone's just a bit of an antagonist. So yes, I am loving this so far. I have got partway through it and I'm hoping to finish it in the next couple of months. But yeah, this is a fantastic book, really chunky, well worth a read. And yeah, it's perfect for autumn too, with the you know, kind of magic, and it's Georgian rather than Victorian, but it feels Victorian in the writing. So if you're a fan of kind of Dickens's writing, which fair play, I'm not exactly, but it's kind of a modern take on that, and I am loving it. And I don't think I read this much in October. I think I started it in September, sorry. I think I started it at the end of August when I went on a Waterstone spree after having some cocktails with a friend in Birmingham. And this was one of the books that I bought while there. Very happy, dreamlike cover. And actually, you know what I love even more is the inside of the cover. These kind of potion-like dreams that we've got there. And this, I've only read a chapter of it so far. It's cute. It's very, I'm getting TJ Klune vibes, kind of like Korean TJ Klune. We are set in a department store that sells dreams. So yes, again, whimsical, but it's very cute so far, very winning. I love it. It's great so far. And what a cover. There were at least 2 different people in Waterstones Birmingham who recommended this to me. And yeah, so far you have to be in a kind of cozy mood for it, but yeah, loving it so far. And this one I kind of started. I got this in the Rare Birds book club. It was one of their choices for September, I believe, and I picked it up and started it straight away. Immediately it's not grabbing me as my sort of thing, and that's mainly because the era it's set. Even really good books written in this kind of time period, or before, so kind of like Kazuo Ishiguro's The Buried Giant, has to work harder to get me interested. Kind of Lost in the Wilderness, there's less going on. So the authors have to work harder to make it interesting. And so far I'm only a couple of chapters in, and I don't think I'm far enough in to be able to comment. It's not immediately grabbed me, it's not kind of immediately made me want to kind of speed along to the end, but I've heard good things about Lauren Groff and I'm willing to see where it's going. So that's another one I'm reading. Started Arguing for a Better World. This one here, put up a picture, which again, too early to give proper opinions on. And I've also started Hunger by Roxane Gay. Roxane Gay is a great writer. Very much looking forward to what she has to say about hunger and her body, and through that the way society looks at our bodies. I'm very interested because there's a lot of kind of blanket body positivity, and we need a more nuanced approach that kind of recognises how difficult it is to be in the sort of body that society does judge. I understand that very well, so I'm very interested to hear what she has to say. She's a fantastic writer. Anyway, yes, so that's my September wrap up. Thank you very much for listening. What did you guys read in September, and what are your plans for October? I'm very interested to hear what you guys are up to, and yeah, what do you think of the books I read? Have you got an opinion on them? Have you read any of them? And what would you recommend to me if you have? See you later.